Hi there and welcome again to the Oil Well with me, Nick Dax, part of the thriving oils community where we are dedicated in educating, supporting and inspiring people to use essential oils for health and well-being, and that can be physical, mental, emotional or spiritual health. Today it's going to all be about Young Living. You've heard me mention them a few times. They are the company that I have now become a member of and the company that I buy all my oils and quite a lot of their health products from. Now, you would be forgiven for thinking that I am being paid by Young Living to do this. Sadly, that's not the case. I am really not. I am pretty much like anyone else out there, a regular oil user. The difference for me only is that I have gone one step further with Young Living and I have taken on their ethos of education, and I now actively work as a distributor educating other people about Young Living, and if they want to sign up and become a member, then helping them to do that. So, Young Living, who are they? Well, actually they are a great big American company, and perhaps this is one of the things that actually put me off them to start with. They're based in Utah and they've been going for about 25 years now. I think they were founded back in 1993. They are today the leading providers of essential oils. They have got a range of over 300 oils, and this is a range of single oils, but also a big range of very carefully blended oils. These have been blended using lots of single oils for specific reasons. So you've got wonderful ones to support your respiratory care, or maybe ones to specifically help with emotions. But the range is now over 300. Now, their ethos as a company is to provide health without compromise. And actually, I really do think that their essential oils and their health products that have proven to be pure and potent and powerful and natural, I really do think they do this because they are supporting our health and our well-being, improving it without all of those horrible side effects. Now, Young Living want to reassure their members of their authenticity, of convincing everybody of their care and attention to their product. They've actually invented their very own guarantee. Now, it is called the Seed to Seal Guarantee, and you can see it down here. This guarantee basically is them saying we are committed, we are dedicated, we want to show you how authentic our product is. And that's a big thing to do, because if you think about it, seed to seal, from planting the seed to harvesting, distilling and getting that oil and trapping it, sealing it in the bottle, that's a lengthy process. But Young Living seem to be involved at every step of the way. They monitor so much of those processes, planting the seeds, farming them, tending them, harvesting them, distilling them, packaging them, or testing them, everything that they're involved in. Now, one of the reasons that they can do this is because they own so many of their own farms. So obviously it's easier to monitor if you own the farm. But they don't own all of them. They do still use partner or cooperative farmers to grow particular crops for them. But rather than just put that farm in place and get their word that they're going to follow their strict practices, Young Living still do an awful lot of monitoring and on-site checks. They've got strict criteria that they want to be adhered to. Take the use of pesticides and fertilizers. Obviously, they don't want any of these crops to be contaminated in any way, because those chemicals will show up in the final product, that lovely oil. I have actually heard that the way that they pesticide their crop, if you like, is with essential oils. So that's just genius, isn't it? Using the essential oils to actually help the crops to grow. Brilliant. One of the other things that they do is to take care to harvest their crops, their plants, at exactly the right time for that plant, where we are getting out the very best, the richest, the most potent of these sort of nutrients and compounds that go into the oil and give us the health benefits. Now, for some crops and some plants, that is a very long process. I think the frankincense can't be harvested until it's 7 years old. So, this is not instant. This is a long process. Another thing that they make sure to do is to harvest the plant, possibly by hand, so that it makes sure that the crops are not damaged in any way, and distilling those crops really quickly. Now, I don't mean the distillation process is quick. I mean from the time the plant is picked to the time it's distilled. If we pick fruit and vegetables, we know that as soon as we pick them, they start to lose some of their goodness. By the time it gets to us on the shelf, they may have been picked for many weeks. That's not the case with any of the crops on the Young Living farms. The distilleries are very often on site at the farm, and that means that the crop can go in for distillation really soon after it's been picked, and that ensures that we are getting all of those benefits. Now, the distillation process is a long one. To get the very best out of a plant, you need to distill it at a low temperature for a long period of time. And Young Living are committed to doing this, even though that's a more costly process. There's a lot of companies that don't take that time. They distill fast over high temperatures. But what you can do over those high temperatures is actually kill off a lot of the health benefits that we're looking to get out. To distill a plant, you need an awful lot of plant material to just produce a small amount of oil. I've got some figures. We've got about 500 kilograms of cinnamon bark. Distilling that produces just 5 ounces. That's about 125 grams of actual oil. So that is an awful lot of product for just a small amount of oil. Rose petals, you're looking at over 2,000 kilograms, and that's going to produce about 16 ounces. Maybe that's about 450 grams of actual rose oil. I've got one final one, and that's cypress. You're going to need about 800-900 grams of cypress to produce about 400-500 grams of oil. And that process is really important that we distill it for 24 hours, because apparently in that last 20 minutes, there are 18 key compounds that are drawn out of the cypress leaves that have amazing health benefits to us. But if the distillation time is cut short, of course, we don't get those in the oil. And Young Living are completely committed to doing this. Now, obviously, all this care, love and attention is going to mean that their product is a little bit more expensive than some. But actually, I think that is worth paying for. Time, love, commitment has gone into the product. Okay, so I read a book recently. It was on hormonal balance, and it was written by a doctor, and she was looking at using essential oils to support hormonal balance. And she had a checklist of things that you should ask of a company if you're using their essential oils to help gauge the purity and the authenticity of the product. These were the questions that she thought we should ask. Does the company disclose where their crops are sourced from? Do they take care to harvest their crops at peak times to ensure that we get the maximum goodness from them? Do they use testing procedures to make sure for purity and potency? Have they created partnerships with local farms? Do they use sound business practices? Are gas chromatography and mass spectrometry used to test the product? And is testing done for microbial properties? Now, the answer to all of those for Young Living is a resounding yes. But actually, I've spent quite a lot of time contacting other companies who you think are big and sound and honest and reliable, and it's amazing how little information they are willing to give you. There was something else that really startled me about Young Living. Of all the oil that they produce, especially the oil that is produced off-site, when it comes into the headquarters, it is quarantined. That oil is then tested, and they do use tests like gas chromatography. I'm not a scientist, but I believe that tests for levels of chemicals within the oil. Not just bad chemicals, but good chemicals, the chemicals we want to do us good. And Young Living have set their bar pretty high. They really want the good chemicals within the oils to have reached a certain maximum level, minimum level even, that they will say, yes, that's good enough for us. And amazingly, 75% of all the oil they test is discarded. They do not sell it to us, the members, because it does not meet their exacting standards. That's quite amazing to me. I mean, the bottom line in everything that I've read about Young Living is that despite it being an enormous company, it really does seem to have very strong and very sound ethics, and they have stuck to their ethos throughout. They could easily make more money by selling a lower standard product and taking less time and care in growing these crops, but they choose not to, because despite how successful they have become, they've never lost sight of what it was that they set out to do, and that is to provide health without compromise. I think that's amazing for a big company. I mean, all too often we hear about individuals and in big organisations who have been misled by greed. And I just don't see that with Young Living. So for me, they really are the people that I want to be associated with, and I certainly want that reassurance in being a member and getting my oils from them. And the brilliant thing is that being a member of Young Living costs you absolutely nothing, but you get something back straight away. To be a member of Young Living, you simply have to log on and fill out the membership form, and you can do that really simply because below there is a link to my Young Living website. It's the one that starts myYL.com/Nick-the-Oil-Well. If you go through to that page and scroll down, you'll find where it says become a member or enroll today. All you need to do is fill out your information. My information, my ID number, is already in the box. Now you'll be taken through to another page where it might ask you to buy things. You don't need to at this point. You can just scroll down and enroll without purchasing. That enrolment, that membership, immediately gives you 24% off all of your prices. Not retail prices anymore, you're on wholesale prices. So being a member, you're getting nearly quarter off the prices. Well worth it. I'm going to talk you through being a member and the perks that you get for being a member and how you can get started in the next video. So there'll be lots to talk about then. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope very much to see you again on the next one. But until then, take care. Bye-bye.